Welcome back, guys. This is the King of Weebs here, and this is What If Naruto Was a Player Part 1. This is my 1000 subscriber, monetization special. I just got monetized and I'm really happy about it. So, since I finished 2 series out of the 5 that I have left, I'll probably start a new one. So, this is What If Naruto Was a Player. If if you guys haven't read Solo Leveling, it won't really spoil it, but it will have a few. Since if you want to read it, I recommend you to read it. It only took me like 3 days. Well, because the first day 83 chapters, and second day I didn't really read much, like one chapter, and then the last day I finished it. It only took me a few hours. It was amazing. I'm hoping season 2 comes out as soon as possible. And by the way, it's a webtoon, not an anime. It's a webtoon, yes, but some webtoons are getting animes like Tower of God. I need to read that one as well since I want to watch the anime. It looks cool, and I really hope Solo Leveling gets an anime. It really deserves it. Like, it's too good. Anyways, for this to happen, I will say that Naruto right now is 8. Yes, 8 years old. Naruto is basically the normal Naruto. There is no much change about him. It's just normal Naruto, and he's walking around this. I'll say this was like a month before the academy started, and he's walking around the village having the time of his life, having an ice cream after 3 months. He saved up enough money since he had to pay for rent, and every time he got ramen, and he always forgot to get ice cream. So he got ice cream, and he was having his ice cream until a kid with his dad came, and the kid basically kicked Naruto, and his ice cream fell on the floor. And basically Naruto got really angry at this and said, "Hey, you gotta get me a new one." And the kid's like, "Why should I get you a new one, demon?" And Naruto's like, "What do you mean, demon? Get me a new one. You're the one who ruined mine." And basically Naruto ran up to him, and then his father basically said, "Shut up, you little brat. Don't touch my son." And literally started strangling Naruto. And I'll say that this was in a remote place. Naruto was going back home, and he just there weren't many people out, and basically he was getting strangled to death. And then out of nowhere, a a notification came up. Not notification, like, what happened to Hong Jin Woo? I don't even know how to say his name. And by the way, I will put a link in the description to read the webtoon just for this video, of course. Um, so it says, "Would you do you accept becoming a player?" And Naruto's like, "What is this?" in his head, and basically, a countdown comes up, and basically it's counting from 5 to 0, and it's on 2 seconds left, and Naruto's like, I accept." And basically Naruto became a player, and out of nowhere he woke up in a hospital bed, and basically a nurse came in and told him that some guy was trying to strangle you until the Hokage was walking around, and then he saw it and he stopped him. And not that, "Oh, thank you for treating me," and the nurse is like, "No problem." And the nurse hates Naruto. She just doesn't like him. Naruto could feel that hate, and basically while he was sitting on his bed, he was going to get he was able to get out of the hospital. They were going to dispatch him after like a day. So on that same day, a pop-up came out. Now a notification, uh, a screen came up, and he says, daily quest or daily challenge. I'll say quest. So basically he has to do 100 push-ups, 100 crawl-ups, 100 sit-ups, and a 10-kilometer run. And he said that at the bottom, he said, if you don't do it, you will be punished. And Naruto is like, I must be dreaming. So he goes back to sleep, and he wakes up to see that there's an hour left, and maybe Naruto is like, there's still an hour. Maybe I could do it. I mean, I have nothing else to do. So he tries 100 push-ups. He does it in like 20 minutes. Sit-ups, he does it in less time, like 10 minutes. And he's already exhausted. He can barely stand up. And he he crawled up to his bed, and basically he struggled to get up, and there were only like there was only half an hour left, and he said, I don't want to do it anymore. So he fell asleep, and then the system woke him up. Yes, the thing that tells him what to do is basically a system. The system is saying in 10 seconds you will be transported to your punishment. And Naruto's like, wait, what? And he basically disappeared from his bed. The nurse didn't really care if he was ill or not. She wasn't going to check on him until like late at night. And he's in front of this monster, basically a massive centipede, I'll say. And he started running away, and there were 4 hours left, and in 4 hours he kept running, and he was able to survive for 4 hours. Well, barely. There were 4 occasions where he nearly got eaten up, and Naruto was really scared after that and realized that this is not a joke, something's really happening. And he wants to ask the Hokage about this, but then he's like, wait, no, he won't believe me. I should keep this a secret. And basically, the next day, Naruto gets he gets released from the hospital, and he goes home. And then at 7 a.m, basically he got released around like 6, and at 7 he got the new quest. So it's the same thing. So basically Naruto starts off real fast. He does the quickest one first, the sit-ups, and then he does the crawl-ups, and then he even starts doing push-ups. So by 2 hours he's done. No, wait, I'll say crawl-ups. I'll say an hour and 10 minutes he's done, and then basically he takes like a 2-hour rest, and then he sleeps for 2 hours, and I'll say it's currently like 10 o'clock. Yes, so he sleeps for nearly 2 hours. At 10 o'clock he goes out, starts running. After like, it took him like around half an hour to do 10 kilometers. I'm not sure, I never really run that much. So 10 kilometers took him half an hour or so. And then basically the system's like, congratulations, you completed the quest, your daily challenge, here's a gift and your rewards. So one of the rewards was a box, and Naruto's like, hey, what's that box? And he basically put his finger to tap the little box icon, and basically the box appeared in his hand right in front of him, and he's like, whoa, this is amazing. And basically he opens the box and he finds the key in there, and the key is like a C rank key. Basically Naruto reads the description of it, and he says, private private dungeon. You can open a dungeon anywhere you want, and you can fight enemies. And Naruto's like, whoa. And basically Naruto did read things about dungeons and all that kind of stuff, so in books. So Naruto actually wants to open a box. It's like, wait, maybe I should take a few weapons with me. He did say I will have to fight. So Naruto, at 8 years old, he's not that strong, but it will take him a few days to complete even a C rank. No, I'll say, yeah, C rank dungeon will take him a few days, like maybe a week. Maybe it could even take him up to 2 weeks. But remember, Naruto, no one really cares about Naruto except for the third Hokage when he comes and gives him his money. But the third Hokage already gave it a week ago, and he gives him monthly, so there's 3 weeks. And Naruto's like, I could be gone for a few days, it's fine. So Naruto had a few kunais with him. He had 2 swords. Yes, I'll say that he found 2 swords next to the scrapyard. I'll say that, where they sell ninja equipment, the non-usable ones. So people, the old ones, they threw away, and Naruto's like, this is actually pretty good. And he found 2 of them. One of them was in pretty new conditions. It's just that the handle was a bit burnt, so he just took it. So he was going to use the old one first and then the new one, so the new one will last him longer. Even he could use both around, but anyways, so Naruto goes near a forest, and basically he presses on the information icon next to the key, and he says you can just he says just do just be like you're opening a door anywhere you want and you can go in a dungeon. So he opens the dungeon near a forest, and basically he's transported into the dungeon, and he sees that it's basically the forest, and he has to go inside the forest. And basically once he goes in the forest, there's not much there until a wolf a a wolf appeared, and it was called next to it there was a little a name tag, and he said Steel Fang Raiken. And basically he started attacking Naruto. Naruto at first he didn't know what to do, but then out of fear he's like, don't get close to me, and pulls out the sword and cuts the Raiken's one of the Raiken's eyes, and the Raiken basically falls back and is about to attack Naruto, and this time going for the kill straight away. And Naruto's like, no you don't. And Naruto this time he doesn't go for the face, he actually goes he tries to cut one of his legs off so he doesn't move too much. Even though Naruto's not that smart, he has some common sense, because if he doesn't have a leg it won't be as easy to move around. So he cuts one of the legs off, and the Raiken is on the floor trying to get up, but he can't really. And then Naruto basically comes up to it and stabs its head, and the Raiken gets killed off. And basically all his weapons, basically an inventory pops up, and he sees that he can put all his weapons. So he puts all his kunais, weapons, shurikens, paper bombs. Yes, he has a few paper bombs, like he stole them while the shopkeeper wasn't looking, but of course there are not too many. I'll say around 20, but of course ninjas could have from 100 maybe to 1000 even. Anyway, so Naruto decides to actually use the sword mostly, and and basically he's walking deeper in the forest, and then basically there is this one cave near the forest. Well, in the forest there was this cave, and he could feel a massive energy coming from it. So he goes a bit back in the woods again, because he can feel a strong essence coming from there, and he doesn't want to go in there. He thinks that if it's a dungeon there will be a dungeon boss. So he knows he basically he feels that the boss is in there, and he has to level up a bit more, since he does have a leveling tag. And also, since the games didn't exist, like RPG games where you have to level up, they don't exist in the Naruto world yet. In Boruto they do, but so Naruto doesn't know. So the system did explain all this to him, and the system was helping him a bit more than what he did with Jinwoo or Hung. I don't know how you guys say it. I don't care. it's too hard. I usually just skip the names. Anyways, Naruto then basically sees multiple Raikens, and he kinda has a bit of fear, but then he realizes that he already opened this and he doesn't want to go back empty-handed, and he wants to actually beat them all. So he rushes them, they rush him, and I'll say 4 days passed. Naruto still hasn't been back, and in these 4 days Naruto has been leveling up level after level, and he actually cleared the dungeon out of all its monsters except for the boss. And I'll say that now from level 1 he's on level 14. Yes, he's level 14 now, because he cleared every single one of them. And now basically his sword, one of his swords already broke, and he's on his second sword, and it's really it's really rusty now because of all of the things that Naruto had to go through. And Naruto's ready to get into the dungeon, well, the boss floor, the boss. He was about to go up against the boss, and Naruto still has all his kunais, all his shurikens, and all his paper bombs, and he realizes that he can use them. They will come in really handy. And Naruto basically he decides to actually go in, and the boss is the same. It's the same one. I think it was the snake. Yeah, the snake. So Naruto actually has to go up against the snake all by himself, and he's still weak. Even though he's level 14, he hasn't got all the enough experience, and his sword broke real fast just by once he tried to slice him, the the snake once, he broke straight away. And Naruto, what he did is he felt a lot of fear, so what he did is get all his paper bombs out. He attached them to the snake and then threw 14 kunais out of the 20 he had, and he threw them like with a lot of strength, and they didn't do much. One of them actually stabbed into the skin, and Naruto realized that maybe if he keeps hitting the same spot, he will actually get a lot of damage in, and then he can break through its defenses. And then basically Naruto's paper bombs explode on the snake. The snake actually gets hurt, and a lot of its skin starts breaking and crumbling away. Naruto realizes that's his it's his time. It's time for him to attack. So he picks up the broken sword and stabs the snake on the head. The snake actually gets hurt a lot, and it starts slithering away. Well, not away. It tries to slither away from Naruto, because it knows that Naruto will start doing more damage. But Naruto kept it in. He dug into the snake even deeper, and as soon as the snake started moving, Naruto basically, so the Naruto's broken sword starts cutting around the snake. So because the snake started moving away, slithering away, Naruto was pushed backwards with the sword, and since the sword was still inside the snake, he started cutting a whole line throughout the snake, and the snake had like nearly less than 10% of its health from all those attacks. Remember, it's not like Jinwoo, how he had to fight the snake with a sword. Naruto had explosions with him and kunais, and Naruto realized it's his time to use all his kunais. He used all of them, and they all stabbed the weak spots, and Naruto now used all his 30 shuriken, and he threw them all at one spot, so he did a lot of damage on that one spot. And then he used his broken sword to stab that spot, and he killed the snake. And the snake basically dropped an item. He dropped an item. I can't really remember the name, but I'll just call it the snake dagger. And also the snake dropped the snake poison. So Naruto had now got the snake poison and the dagger, and he realized that his level isn't too high. It's only 16 now. He only leveled up twice from that monster, and the dungeons closed, and it took him actually a full day to fight the snake, but it took him less time than what he thought it would. So it took him five days. He goes back home, and he basically gets ready to go to the local bath house, and he goes into the bath house, and people are looking at him, but he just has his dip, and he washes himself and goes back home and sleeps for the rest of the day. Then he wakes up around like 10 p.m. Now I'll say 7 p.m. and he's gone out to eat, and then basically he got a notification from the system giving him a new gift for completing the dungeon, and it gave him a key to another dungeon. And Naruto was really happy, but he realized that he only had 2 weeks until the academy began, and Naruto only has fighting with the weapons skills, while he still wants to become a ninja. So he will do his daily quests, daily challenges, but he won't open any more dungeons until he's a full-fledged ninja. And 4 years pass. Naruto has been doing all sorts of he's been doing the normal thing, except for actually working out and doing his daily challenge, and he has a ton of keys. He has like 16 C rank keys, 14 14 B ranks, 7 A ranks, and 2 S rank keys. Also, he has a few E ranks and D rank keys, but he wants to sell those. He doesn't want them, so he sells them in the shop, and he gets a bit of gold from it. And his dagger hasn't been used at all. So Naruto is now the last year of the academy, and he yes, he got an S rank key from the system by doing challenges because of I'll say he got a daily bonus, a daily login bonus. So like every time he did the challenges, each day if he kept doing a daily without stopping, the the rewards will be higher. So he got higher rewards every time he every day. So he got 2 S rank keys every 2 years. So if you keep doing the daily challenges for 2 years in a row, you get an S rank key. And he, since 4 years have passed, he got 2 S rank keys now. And so Naruto is now in his exam. He failed again as always, and Mitsuki still told him about the scroll ceiling. And here the events go similar to the original, and Naruto is now a ninja, so he still meets up with Kakashi, and his and his belt test goes pretty similar to the original, just that Naruto this time he is a lot faster. So what I mean by similar is that he does still get beaten, but Kakashi had to put away his book and actually challenge Naruto in a one-on-one fight, because Naruto's speed was on the level of around a Jonin. Yes, he still got MP to increase his strength, speed, intelligence. He mostly but he couldn't once he tried to increase his chakra, but you can't increase chakra from the system. The system doesn't allow that. So, and it doesn't allow skills to be increased. I know intelligence his intelligence increased, but he never really paid too much attention in school. That's why he wasn't as smart as the others, even though his intelligence, if he tried in school, he'd be at the top of his class. So he was always at the bottom. And Naruto did still pass the bell test, and I'll say that in the 1 month of training that they did, Naruto, after, well, not the training, 1 month of D-rank missions, Naruto actually finished the missions as fast as possible and started opening up dungeons. So I'll say on the first day he opened up a C-rank dungeon. So he finished the dungeon by the end of the day, around, well, not at the end of the day, it was around like so I'll say he finished his mission around 1 p.m. and he opened the gate at 2. So the dungeon gate closed around like 10 p.m. Yes, it took him 8 hours to finish the dungeon, and he was pretty impressed by himself, because it took him 5 days the last time he actually did the dungeon, and now it took him 8 hours on a C rank. If he was a B rank, is probably going to take him another 5 days. Yes, because Naruto knows that the ranks aren't similar. They're not like, oh, if I'm an A rank I can get to S rank in like maybe a year of training. It will take a lot more. He understands that. He did the system did explain this to him, that even if an A rank and an S rank are if you'd think that an A rank and an S rank are similar, but an S rank is leagues. I mean leagues. The gap between a B rank and an A rank is high, but a gap between an A rank and an S rank is way higher than normal. And Naruto understands that, and he is technically just a C rank adventurer, but at the same time a ninja. So he keeps doing that for a month. In a month he does still finish his he's able to do 3 B ranks and all his C ranks. A few did take him a bit longer, and he did take a few days off. And then the Zabuza mission came up, and Naruto actually cleared an A rank the day before. So I'll say that Naruto faked that he was ill and for 3 days, and he said that he wanted to do an A rank dungeon, and he said that he was ill for 3 days. So basically Naruto told them that he won't be coming. Naruto told his team that he won't be coming into missions because he's ill and he doesn't feel well. So they took a 3-day break, and in that 3 days, Naruto has beaten the dungeon where he got his job rank. So he got the job rank Necromancer, and Naruto thought it was sounded really cool, so he was happy with it. And since Naruto's stats are really high right now, since for 4 full years he's been increasing his stats, he has already got a job awakening into and Naruto actually got his awakened job. So from Necromancer he became Shadow Lord or Shadow Monarch. I'm not sure which one was it. And Naruto did verse Igris, and he beat him because Naruto is a lot stronger than Igris right now, because not only he's a ninja, he has ninja techniques, but also he can use the Shadow Clone Jutsu with all his daggers, and in the end he was able to beat Igris much faster. And even the the mages that were making the soldiers fight, and it was much easier for him. And in the end he was able to actually he did still choose I'll say that he chose the word rise as well, so he was able to make Igris rise and a lot of soldiers and the mages rise. And Naruto now had an army, and the Zabuza arc did begin by Naruto basically said, okay, I'm taking 1 month break from doing dungeons. I've been doing it for the past month, no more for a full month. And Naruto is now on a on a mission, a C rank mission, and he's like, wait, are missions like dungeons? I wonder. So if this is C ranked, it should be easier than the dungeon I just versed. And Naruto is technically right, but at the same time he's wrong, because Zabuza is an A rank fighter, and I'll say he is just a bit stronger than Igris. So, but remember, he has Kakashi, Igris, and all his army. So, a small army of 100 soldiers and like 4 mages. So, Naruto does still. So he notices the puddle. Well, he doesn't really notice the puddle because he hasn't really been out. He's mostly been in dungeons most of his time, so he wasn't really paying attention, and he was thinking of should he show his team what he can do. But at the end they did still get attacked, and Sasuke took all the spotlight, and Naruto's like, god damn it. And basically Naruto did find out that he can put shadows on the feet or on other people's shadow. Like he put four night shadows, so shadow knights on all 4 of them. So Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and Tazuna. So Naruto does still sense Zabuza, and this time he could actually fully sense him because of his sensory abilities and his adventure sense. And he throws a kunai, and the kunai actually goes in top speeds. It was much faster than the kunai he threw, and Zabuza had to jump out straight away instead of actually just letting the rabbit go, because that kunai could have actually stabbed him, and he didn't want to get he didn't want a kunai to get in his way of killing Zabuza, and killing Tazuna. And Zabuza does appear and says, give me Tazuna and you guys can leave with your lives. And Kakashi's like, this is our mission, no. And Kakashi does still accept that Tazuna's mission is not a C rank, it can be a B rank. And Naruto realizes that maybe this mission might be a bit harder than just a C rank. And so that's why he put Shadow Knights on their shadows. So Naruto actually wants to fight Zabuza, but once Kakashi says no and starts fighting him himself, then gets trapped in a water prison, Naruto's like, nah, there's no way I cannot use this now. And Naruto basically Sasuke's like, we need to help Kakashi or we'll die. And Naruto's like, wait, I got this, just leave this to me. And he says rise, and Zabuza's like, why are you mumbling to yourself, kid? Do you just want to die, brat? And he starts running towards Naruto. Well, a water clone starts running towards Naruto, and Naruto says rise, and Igris, all the shadow knights and the mages rise, and everyone's so confused on what's going on. And Naruto basically summons his dagger as well, and basically he starts attacking them. And well, the water clone, and Zabuza's like, wait, what just happened? Igris is a bit weaker than Zabuza, but that was a water clone, so it wasn't the real Zabuza, so it was really easy for Igris to get rid of it. And Naruto's like, alright, you can go, I can handle the rest, thank you, Igris. And he did still give the name of Igris instead of Igris Red Blood Knight or something like that. And Naruto's like, alright, so either you let Kakashi Sensei go or you let your life go. And Zabuza's like, who do you think you are, kid? Only because you got lucky there, it doesn't mean you can beat me. And Naruto's like, are you sure you want to verse my whole army? And Zabuza's like, shut up, kid. And he summons another water clone, and this time Naruto starts fighting him, and he's like, alright then. And basically the shadow, there wasn't much light there, but there was still enough light for the shadows to for your shadow to be seen. And Naruto's like, alright, rise. And the knight in the shadow of Kakashi actually rose and basically kicked Zabuza away. Zabuza cut the knight, and the knight regenerated, and Naruto's like, alright, stand down. And Kakashi's like, wow. And he starts attacking Zabuza, and Zabuza does still get killed, quote unquote killed, by Haku, and Haku takes him away. And Naruto is really exhausted. His mana, he might be pretty OP right now, like Jinryu level, once he found his monarch, once he became a Shadow Lord. But of course Naruto is much weaker than him right now. Well, technically not, he's actually stronger than Jinryu, but I'm saying right now his mana is much it's less than Jinryu, because Naruto hasn't been paying too much attention to his mana, and he summoned all of them at the same time, so it was a lot of mana, especially because some of them did have to regenerate once this Zabuza clone cut them down. That's why Naruto didn't keep all his shadows, knights up. That's why he collapsed, and Tazuna took them to his house, and they were resting there for a week. And Naruto and his team did still learn the tree walking. Naruto did struggle, and he learned it. And Kakashi was gonna ask him, but he's like, okay, let me ask him tonight, since it's last night before the mission. And Kakashi goes up to Naruto and asks him what that was a week ago, and Naruto's like, you ask me now, a week later. So Naruto explains to him what really happened, and Kakashi actually thinks it's fake, but he wants to he wouldn't believe it if he didn't see it with his own eyes. So Kakashi believes him, and the next day arrives, and Naruto's still sleeping, so he goes in late. The mission does start late, so Naruto still saves Inari with and his mother from the from the bandits, Gato's men, and he starts heading to the fight. So this is where I'm going to end part 1. I hope you all enjoyed. Please take care, stay safe. This is the King of Weebs here, and also please join my Discord server. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Anyways, this is the King of Weebs here, and peace.